Toby the tram engine had just finished arranging trucks in the yard when a new Railtour train arrived. He looked like a diesel, but had several strange attachments and a long metal arm on its roof. He was also pulling a large yellow van along with the coaches. As the visitor uncoupled from his train and rolled into a siding, Toby rang his bell cheerfully. "Hello," he said. But the engine sniffed and looked away. This made Toby cross. "You know," he said, "it's only polite to respond when someone greets you. I don't associate with out-of-date claptraps like yourself," the engine said. Toby hissed with anger. "But if you must know, my name is Zebedee. I'm an electric engine." He raised his arm. "This is a pantograph. It helps me to collect electricity from overhead wires." Toby was secretly impressed. "But," Zebedee went on, "since this railway is still living in the time of the Romans, they gave me this generator to power my engine. Pity though, almost all the lines on the mainland have been electrified. Too bad you've all been left out." "That's not true," Toby huffed. "We have a branch line that's been electrified." "Still, that's just one line," Zebedee chortled. "But it'll be a matter of time before your controller scraps the lot of you and moves on with the times. Contribute to the zeitgeist, if you will." Toby angrily huffed away. Later, Toby met up with Edward and told him all about how rude Zebedee was. "Take no notice," said Edward. "We've seen this type before. He'll get what's coming to him eventually." But Toby wondered when eventually would be. The other engines soon got to meet Zebedee too, and their stories were no different than Toby's. He made them very cross as he sang the praises of electric traction. "Who does that engine think he is?" huffed Gordon in the sheds that night. "Coming here and calling us outdated." "Indeed," added James. "Someone should put that Zebedee in his place." "But what can we do?" asked Henry. "I have an idea," Thomas slyly smiled, "and it involves that generator of his." "No, Thomas," Edward warned. "Two wrongs never make a right." "You wouldn't want to get in trouble yourself," added Toby. But Thomas was confident that his plan would work. The next day, while Zebedee was still asleep, Thomas slid into the yard and coupled up to the generator van. But as he tried to sneak away with it, Zebedee woke up. "What do you think you're doing, you silly little engine?" he snapped. "Let go of my van at once." "Not until you stop being rude to us," Thomas huffed. The two engines began bickering back and forth. "Silence!" called a well-known voice. "Now what is all this fuss about?" "That engine's stealing my van, sir," Zebedee pleaded. "Shamish," the fat controller spoke, "I'm ashamed of you. You're causing trouble for our guest." But, sir..." "No excuses," the fat controller continued. "You will shunt chocks in the yard until you can behave again." "Yes, sir," Thomas mumbled. "Sorry, sir." Zebedee grinned sheepishly. "My plan didn't work," Thomas told Edward and Toby later that day. "We told you not to," Toby huffed. "I'm sure he'll get his comeuppance sooner or later," Edward reassured. Just then, Edward's driver arrived on the platform. "Come along, Edward," he said. "Zebedee's had an accident. We must fetch the works coach." Edward laughed. "I suppose sooner came rather than later." Meanwhile, Zebedee was feeling miserable. He had his pantograph up and got it stuck underneath a station's pedestrian bridge. James was right behind him with a local train, but the coaches weren't at the platform and the passengers were stuck waiting. Worse still, the level crossing was blocked, so cars, buses and lorries were stuck on either side. "Come on," tooted Bertie impatiently. I've got passengers to deliver. Don't blame me, huffed James. Mr. Modern Engine up there's blocking the platform. And he wouldn't have gotten stuck, the station master said, if he hadn't learned to keep his pantograph down on unelectrified lines. It's a force of habit, Zebedee pleaded. Stow it, you, the station master fumed. Edward soon came up with the works coach. Hello, Zebedee, said Edward cheerfully. I see you're in a spot of bother. Pity our whole railway isn't electrified, then you wouldn't have to deal with these low bridges. Zebedee said nothing. Never mind, Edward continued. We'll sort this all out. The workmen soon got the pantograph unstuck. Zebedee lowered it and sulked away without even so much as a thank you. James's passengers were soon on the platform. Bertie was on his way. The next day, Toby was making his way to Knapford. Edward was already there. Did the Railtour train leave yet? He asked. I'm afraid you just missed it, said Edward. Pity, remarked Toby. I would have liked to have seen if he was sorry for making all that trouble yesterday. He didn't say anything, said Edward, but I think he is. Probably just too proud to admit it. I hope Edward is right. Don't you?